Welcome to Your Thoughts Podcast, season 2 or 3. I don't know. Anyway, hi, I'm Jesse Martinez.
I'm Tyler Beck.
And then we're here with Jacob Santoro.
Santoro. This is the second time Jacob's been on the podcast.
And I'll never remember his last name.
You never remember anybody's name.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
Jacob.
Yes.
You have a mustache these days.
Well, I did.
Oh, what happened?
I got rid of it.
Why?
I can't grow a good one like yours.
Oh, that's bullshit.
He
Everybody
actually-
can
he
grow a
just
good
shaved it.
mustache.
I just shaved it, so I'm pretty...
Wait. That's just shaved?
Well, I mean, not like I shaved.
Are you
and I came over
Sicilian?
here.
Like
No.
What's going on
within
there?
the past week, he shaved.
Yeah,
Is
it's very... all it takes is one unflattering angle in my house just to see a big guy with a mustache.
That's why I don't put mirrors in my house at all.
That's a fun sample fact about Jesse's house is
There's no mirrors.
mirrors. In the bathroom, no mirrors.
I am
I've been to
disgusting.
his
and I
house.
will
There's
cry.
a mirror above the couch.
Above the couch.
There
Above
it
the
is.
couch.
That's the one. I can't
Only
see
one
myself
mirror, and
in
it's
it.
the most inappropriate place.
It's actually the only decoration in the living room.
It's really just to mellow me out, keeps me humble. I gotta see sometimes that I'm just god awful.
It's one above the couch, one on the floor of the shower. That's the only two mirrors. In
And that's
Jesse's
just to
house.
make me cry when I need to. All right, well, we're here to talk to Jacob about. This is the second time we've had him on, and he's a comedian. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, not
Sometimes.
all the time.
Have
He's
you done
also-
anything since the last time? Because it was like
yeah.
August of 2018 when you were on last time.
Yeah, when after a while the man kind of gets you down, and that's when you start focusing more on work and stuff like that. But every now and again, a couple of open mics here and there, they also butcher my name too.
Give
And
me some
it's like
examples.
that scene. It's like that scene in Spider-Man, the first one where he's like, "Hey, make sure you address me as Spider-Man." You know what I mean? I tell him multiple times, it's Santoro. I know it doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but just Santoro. All right, cool. Coming up next, Jacob Santoro.
Yeah,
Let's
does it-
hear And it's just
It's a comedy venue too, so they don't give a fuck.
no, they don't care, and it's just it hurts from the mispronunciation of the name, and then like the 5 people that are at the comedy venue, just like the 5 muffled claps. You know what I mean? So it's just all in all, like it just throws you off.
Wait,
from there.
muffled claps? Like where they wear mittens or something?
Yeah, it's just like that
Bring your
one-off.
muffled mittens. You
That
know?
one off, just like the like one guy could have did the amount of clapping that 5 or 6 people did, kind of clapping.
Maybe it's a soundtrack just in case nobody claps, and the bar's like, okay, that's not good.
they have their own clap track to introduce
Clap
the
tracks,
comedians.
That's so stupid.
I might as well just have one of those, just
Yeah.
full house.
Oh,
Just
you didn't
ones up
clap?
there.
Okay, well, let me fix
it's
that real
it's on my
quick.
phone. Just I bring my own laugh track. Jacob doesn't go anywhere without his own laugh track.
It's so stupid. And now Jacob,
He's got samples of laugh tracks.
Yeah.
just like,
They're different ones.
Yeah,
for
it's
each-
my
each
dicey
show.
jokes.
and
my
they're all
racy
by
jokes.
you too.
Yeah.
Like you were clapping into a microphone. Just
It took about 6 hours, and it's just a bunch of just superimposed takes of me clapping.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. So you do music now too.
Mm.
Me and Jacob found out that we're in the same practice studio for like months, and we've never ran into each other, which is probably good.
That place is a little scary.
It's a little,
I'm not
little
gonna
scary.
lie.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
you met what's his name? The guy who you got in with, Beck.
What do you mean?
So there's one guy that runs the place. His name is Beck, and when you guys rented the place out, you had to like see him. Who's the
Oh,
guy?
no. So I met, I have a buddy who already had the practice studio,
Hmm.
and he really he has it just for the sake of like having a beat laboratory. You know, he never really had anyone to jam with, but he had like the drums and synths and guitars and basses, and I just posted, I said, anyone looking to play drums in like this little jam band, and quick as a whip. He's like, hey, why don't you come on over? And I had no idea that place existed. I knew how fondly the cross streets were.
Yeah,
Those are-
because you got the Alaskan Bush Company right there. Which do you know?
Surprisingly.
I have not been in yet. We plan on going in. I don't know
you?
what. Yeah. We might go there tonight. So
I've never seen a more like GTA loadout than that one corner, because you have like the
yes.
Alaskan Bush Company, and then you got the gun shop.
Yep.
You got like the one-off 7-Eleven.
and then right next to that, there's that like really shady like was it parts?
Yeah.
That car like detailership or whatever.
Definitely looks like it'd be on like Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
You know, like it looks grotesque.
Wait, did they film that here?
New Mexico. No,
We might as well be New Mexico down in Phoenix. So
Breaking Bad was in New Mexico. I don't know if Better Call Saul was also inside New Mexico.
it's a prequel, right? Are we gonna get sued for this? Can we talk about anything?
Yeah, you talk about
anymore?
whatever you want.
Yeah, can you?
You can talk about anything. It's just like product placement stuff.
Oh, cool.
Now I've had like a Better Call Saul T-shirt on.
Oh, cool.
I don't know.
You know what's really tasty is Pepsi Cola.
And that brings us to our first sponsor of the day. Pepsi Cola, Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning. Oh no, that's crossover. That's not good.
Pepsi, please sponsor us.
Please. anyone even. I don't care who.
5 minutes in,
We've
demonetized.
had Dutch Bros and Bud Light, now Pepsi.
Yeah.
Although you didn't display it.
I didn't
this time.
display it.
You
No,
need
we've
to
had
do-
Dos Equis. Dos Equis has been
Oh,
there.
yeah.
You have to do that perfect like television product placement where all they did was like crudely wrap like a piece of paper around what it was supposed to be. Like you knew that it was like a Miller Time or like a Miller Lite bottle, but they just wrapped it around, so you couldn't tell.
It's always Miller Time when you're my dad.
Oh man.
Like that?
I don't understand it.
You know. So I think we brought you here to talk about the dynamics of comedy, and so do that.
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm the person to talk the dynamics.
Wait, you're not an expert?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an expert.
Wait, you don't get paid to do these comedy gigs?
I don't.
Oh,
One
no.
time.
Why is he
I've
here?
been paid.
Why are you here?
I know. Well, it's been nice. Yeah, I'm sorry. I lied on my resume.
Self-proclaimed
Stop,
comedian.
Self-proclaimed. Yeah. No, it's tough, and a lot of people. It's more for the voice. It's cool to have it's cool to have a really shitty day at work, and remember something funny that happened and just talk about it as you would with like drinking buddies.
Oh yeah.
The part that everyone seems to get confused about is when it's funny in your head, but it's not, and I'm not saying that anything I've ever done, like it always kills, but it's just like you have those moments where you're like, oh man, I don't know. I just something crazy in traffic happened. In your head, it's gut busting.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get on stage and the lights are on you and you got that 5 minutes to tell it, the story lasts 30 seconds. And now there's no clap, there's no laugh, and now you've got 4.5 minutes to kill about literally anything else.
Well, that's terrifying because Tyler is trying to get me, another buddy, and Jacob to do an open mic.
Yeah, I organized a
comedy
group
thing.
chat to try to get you guys together.
And I came up with some material in the same way. It's all in my head and it's all situational.
Did you not have material when I tried to set that
none
up?
at all. No, but because everything
'Cause
that
our-
I do,
Our buddy Steven has actually done open mics, and I know you've done open mics. So I was trying to get all three of you guys to do it together.
Let me just say, by the
it'd
way,
be
how
fun.
he said, that group chat I made and his voice said, but no one responded to. I want to make it very clear that I think out of the entire time, you talked the least amount on said group chat, sir.
Yeah.
I think that was that was the point he was trying. He
I
just
was
went,
trying to get you
"Take
guys
it."
together.
He's
Yeah.
playing matchmaking.
yeah, and then
Okay.
we just sort of
I'm
like sent
event
dick pics to
organizing.
each
I don't
other.
have to be in the event. I just have to organize.
You just wanted to wake up to like 96 notifications on said group chat.
I read them all.
He's a psychopath.
It's
dude.
a threat.
If it's
You kidding
words,
me?
he's down to read it. It doesn't even matter what it is.
But I mean, it's the coolest, dude. I mean, it anything to do with open mic. It has nothing to do with comedy. I mean, just it's my favorite, But music.
Now, have you been on stage playing music?
Oh
ever?
yeah. I mean, like in high school, I was in a few bands. I was even in one that had big gigs. Like we played at like Club Rock. We played at other like the Mesa Underground. Now theater.
The Underground sucks.
Yeah, it's awful.
So bad. Now, let
Especially in
me
the
be
summer.
clear. We've played the Underground a lot, and we always appreciate when we're offered to play it. It's a concrete room underneath a building.
there's
Sound
no
quality is
ventilation.
awful. You couldn't mix it good enough to sound halfway decent.
It wasn't the sound I was worried about. It was just the stink. It's
Gross, man.
bad.
There's no ventilation at all. It's
No.
bad.
But in high school, it's kind of like you
What?
feel so cool. 'Cause
Grungy.
It's just like, yeah, you're
It's
just like,
punk rock.
oh, like this is what I'm going to be telling in my fucking true Hollywood story, and like, but yeah, now as an adult, I won't go there.
I won't go there.
yeah,
no.
it's just.
So the underground?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no.
it's
Yeah.
when you have other places like I'd rather play at bars because bars pay
yeah.
and they have better stages and they have ventilation, and the Underground has none of that,
Yeah.
like at all.
But right above is a really
They have
awesome
really
venue.
cool stickers, though.
They
do, and I think we have an Elena Avenue sticker through there. Oh,
Unless it's been covered by the many other bands who stick stickers there.
For anybody who has been following this or whatever, Tyler went to Idaho. We are no longer in Elena Avenue. That band doesn't exist anymore. But you can check out all of our other bands.
And we're also not in Idaho anymore. I moved back to Arizona.
Hey, look, we're in Arizona. This room is Arizona. It's
This
I
is
want the one
Arizona.
guy who had no idea that band was still. What?
serious. It's just
His
one
whole
dude.
life.
I
loved them. Yeah, his whole life, and you just ruined his whole fucking life right now.
Oh, thanks, Grandma. It's just my grandma.
He loved
That's it.
all of your guys' hit songs.
My grandma's a
so you
he.
know.
It was
That's
Bree.
it, isn't it?
Bree loved us.
Yeah. Sad. R.I.P. Don't do heroin.
Number one fan.
Ooh,
Dead.
this got weird. So yeah, we're in different bands now. You can check us out. Well, there's a lot of them, so I'm gonna name them out. Dylan Wade in the Media, Louis on Tour, your guys' band, which is
Nothing.
It's not,
Just
don't
nothing.
have a name yet.
Look
Don't have
up
a name.
Nothing on Spotify.
Yeah.
And then Leo, our camera guy. Thank you, Leo, for doing this today. They're in an
Thank you,
Imagine
Leo.
Dragons thinger is like. His words, not mine. He said it. the
That's
second
not what he
walked
said.
in.
He said Dungeons and Dragons, and you heard Imagine.
Jesse doesn't like to fact check.
I don't. No,
No,
I'll throw
I'll
one
do
out
that
there.
later.
Jesse's very just like, hey, so you're from Los Angeles, right? No, Sacramento. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyways, welcome back.
Right, Santoro.
Yeah.
It keeps everybody on edge, man. I don't know.
So no, I can't let you look good. You
No,
start
you
bright and
can't,
early.
yeah.
I'm just looking at you,
Why are
looking
you
around,
stupid? Constant.
waiting for my cue. You know.
Leo and I are in a project called Mars and Nebula, and I'm also in a project with Jacob.
Which is
Untitled
doesn't-
currently.
It's untitled. It's ungenred. If I'm being honest, that's why I feel so bad for Tyler having to come out so much. Is because it really was just like a jam band, and he's the first person to kind of have like a, hey, you guys, you know, it'd be really cool making our own
Structure,
music.
you
Yeah,
know?
making our own
Like,
music.
What if
just
we wrote some songs?
And I'm just like,
played some shows
anyways,
eventually?
here's this cover from some band no one's heard of. And like, poor Tyler's like, okay. He just.
All right, we're playing Fugazi. We're playing
Great song,
Lit.
by the
Well,
way.
we
I'm
did-
glad
we
you
did
guys started with
Blink-182.
It was a Blink-182 today.
Did you really? What did
Yeah.
you play? It's been.
Was it
Damn It.
Damn it, yeah.
Well,
And
you
then-
already
and
knew
then
that
you-
one.
you
We
played
used to play
Adam's
that
song.
I
one.
played Adam's song.
And
know
I
Adam's
was
song?
singing
Yeah. I
vocals
I never
for that
learned
one.
Adam's
I
song.
was actually just telling Tyler that my entire life as a musician, because I've been doing music since I was probably 7, 8 years old, and every band I've ever been in my entire life, I've always either been the bass player or the rhythm guitarist. So I never had that structure to like make
Are you a
music.
lead now?
Yeah, so I well, I mean, I don't mind sharing with him. I mean, I'd rather him take lead.
He
if
sucks.
I, you know,
No,
but
no, I wouldn't do that.
it was always just
I'm
like,
pretty good.
Yeah.
and he's good.
Yeah.
It was
He's
always
pretty good, too.
It was start making out right now. No, you're pretty good.
He's just like, I'm in a rival band.
Let's stop
Right.
talking about it. Let's just get these things done, okay?
Do you want to jam right now?
Right, you just have a shred off right now, real quick.
I'll shred you off, Jesus.
No, but that's where like a lot of my music. That's where like a lot. I like to fetishize music in a way of just like it's fun to just jam with friends.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard for me to be a cohesive group. I'd love to be, but honestly, making random noise with my buddies is just fun
So
to me.
I romanticize the idea of that.
That's why I'm still
But-
doing it.
When we formed Louis on Tour, we had tryouts. We wanted to be serious, and jamming's fun. We still jamming every now and again. But these people who would come forward, first off, we would be like, hey, this is serious inquiries. If you can play guitar, no beginners, and it's not because we had anything against beginners, but we're not beginners, and we need somebody who is going to be good and want to do this like full time and make a career out of it eventually. We got a lot of beginners, like a lot of them. And nothing against them, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Like they're learning and they're having fun with it, and that's cool. But the jam session, we just weren't in the mindset of it at the time, and so people were just like, "Yeah, I just want to jam." And we were like, "We have 3 people behind you, like we're not here to jam." And but you know, jamming is fun. I'd like to jam with you guys if we can ever meet at the fucking studio every now and again. And then I
No,
would jam
we're on
with
opposite
Tyler.
schedules.
Yeah, it sucks. You guys do mornings. now,
Yeah,
right?
we try to do mornings, but we do Saturdays primarily. Fridays or Saturdays. It's just hard because you know, our bass player Andy, he's a full-time student, and so he's not available any other day. You know what I mean? And you could jam without him, but it's kind of one of those things where like you have those clicks where like, because Andy was my friend first, if I'm not there, he
Andy's
doesn't
not
want to be
there.
there.
Yeah, no,
you know
that
what I
makes
mean?
sense,
So
yeah.
it gets kind of difficult in
That's
that perspective.
That's how Devin and Sam are, because we got them on. They're from Missouri or Idaho or wherever, and they came down and they were who cares?
Who cares?
It is Missouri though.
It is.
Yeah, but maybe they came down and they were just the 2, and then we made the 4, and then a 5th for the second band, and they don't. I never see them individually. You know, and it's just the Cliffs, and me and Nick are always there together.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where, like, I could totally, you know, our drummer also coincidentally is named Tyler, and I could totally hang out with Tyler if I wanted to, but it just seems like the most appropriate way to do it is through music.
Plus, you don't hang out with dudes who don't have big dongs.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't do it. Tyler has a big dong. I know you have a big dong. Look at that.
It's
ass.
just hidden a lot. If I lost like 70, 80 pounds,
Yeah.
oh, it'd be,
just ridiculous.
you know, like those Pornhub ads where it's just
Just in
like
penis?
that one simple trick, and this guy's is now 18 inches. It's like lose weight. That's what it really
That's
is.
it. It makes your dick bigger. All the weight goes to your dick.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are definitely days where sometimes, like, out of the shower, out of curiosity, I'll do like that. I like to do like that Silence of the Lambs, like, but not tuck my sack back, but I'll like push my fupa up.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks a little bit. You know what
There
I mean?
you go. I like
all
that.
it takes is just to lose
Silence
some
of the
weight.
Lambs.
Can we get some unsolicited
You know, with
videos
is
of
that the one with Buffalo Bill when he?
Yeah, that's Silence of the No. Yeah.
Did I say that wrong? We're gonna cut that one out.
No, we're not. No, that's going to stay right there.
Everyone's gonna be listening. He doesn't know shit about pop culture. Fuck that guy.
After like our second guest, we made a contract where you can't cut anything out. It's on on us to cut it out.
Have you ever had anyone say like, "Oh, are we gonna cut that?"
Yes.
We had one person come on and he wanted to cut out.
Alex, right?
It was
I'm name dropping.
It was Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah.
He wanted to cut out reference to a band that he was starting that hadn't actually started yet.
Why?
I don't know.
Weird.
But we did. It was our one after that episode.
I told
we
him
were like,
I'll
no
do
more
it
of
for
that.
this one, but I'm not doing it for anybody else. And then I
Wow.
put it in the contract that you've actually already signed.
Yeah.
I signed it. And
Yeah.
you know what's funny is you bring that up. That gave me a repressed memory of like I remember driving to the original setup and being like, why these guys make me sign a fucking contract? Like, and I was just like kind of laughing about it. I was like, oh, okay. But then like
Because
I
we're now using your likeness for our product.
oh, for sure. You know,
And I don't want to get sued.
I'm gonna be the new mascot of the whole. Like,
I
I'm
would
not
like to
even-
get sued once.
We could
I
make
want to
you the
go through that
mascot.
experience.
It's pretty
and just-
punk
you
rock.
learn something from getting sued. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah,
just
that it
what
costs
not
a
to
lot
do.
of money
Yeah.
that you don't
well,
have.
I need to learn that lesson sometimes.
It's kind of like a tease to get threatened to be sued,
Yeah.
but it's
And then
like
not be
over
sued.
the edge
Yeah.
when you get sued.
Yeah.
Ooh, that really gets
That
you.
hurts, right?
Yeah.
I've never
This
been
is
threatened to
petty.
be sued, but the second I turned 18, my grandfather said these words verbatim: "You're an idiot." That was it.
That's fucking hilarious. Your family sucks,
Yeah, they're
Jesse.
not great. They're not good. They're not.
Why are all the men in your family so rude?
Just men. That's why I'm me. I
don't
know.
even know,
I'm
dude.
learning.
I don't know.
Would you like to?
I come from like a family of Spanish and
He can give you a
Italian
whole
love, and
backstory.
everyone loves and
No,
supports.
I come from that, but they're the Italian and Spanish that hate everybody,
Oh.
including their spawn.
Oh, okay.
Like the spawn of Spawn. They
they
don't
love
like them at
drugs.
all. They do love drugs, though. If I were drugs,
Mm.
oh, baby, I'd have a great home. But I'm not. I'm a human being, and so I don't get the
Jesse
love
starts
that drugs
crying.
Why am I not cocaine?
So, how long have you been doing comedy, man?
Leo, do you have a hangy dong? Come on, baby. Come on. Okay, well, he does, but
Oh yeah, he does.
yeah, for sure. Look how lengthy he is. Plus, skin tone.
It's a very. Oh boy. I really regret signing that
nobody
contract now.
I didn't sign one.
You're affiliated with this racist podcast.
Oh,
That's a positive thing, if anything, I think.
oh my
right?
god. That's what's. We're going to start every single podcast now, just on Jesse's unlikeness. Just God, it's a choice. It's their choice, Jesse. Anyways, welcome back to the podcast.
I whispered it, okay? Not everybody's even going to hear it.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Let's get back to music. What do you think about that?
I was about to go back on dongs, but if you want to go back,
Dogs.
to
You say dog?
Dongs.
You said
I do
dogs.
like dongs. I think I'm bisexual. More bi-curious than anything. Because I look at men.
You think
Jacob,
so?
I think. And I just go, that's an attractive man.
why don't you ever tried?
Well, we've made out.
We've made out. We've had a 3-way together.
Okay.
We've naked leg wrestled. I think I've kissed his penis once.
So it's not that you're
that was
curious.
Mason.
You're a
That was
bisexual
Mason.
man.
I might be a
Yeah.
bisexual. It just
This-
doesn't bother me. I'm not sure that I'm attracted to it.
The curiosity would have ended by the first time, but you've just given me like
Now I've
6
continued.
examples.
And it's not the first
Went
time.
to a drive-in
That's
together
just
and we just
Tyler.
tongued each other for 6 hours, and I was just playing chicken with him. You know what? I'm really looking forward to next week.
Yeah, where I find out if I'm bisexual.
It's okay, man.
We're just really close.
That's cool. No, I
He
get
wants
it.
to be that close with you, though.
More podcasts. We'll get some more podcasts.
Oh, okay,
going.
very good. Hey, man, it's cool.
I'm
free love.
married. I have a son, and I think she knows.
He's not actually married. Why do you say that?
So
Like girls don't hit on you?
No. I love when girls hit on me, but they don't, so that's okay. I love the idea of them doing it, but it never happens. I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in the sanctity of marriage under, the deity. But for tax purposes, I would like to be married, just for that particular purpose. But I don't know. I truly feel that I'm going to spend at least the rest or the majority of my life with her. So there's no
Probably
reason
20
not to,
years,
you know
right?
what I mean? Yeah. The next 5 years or whatever.
Right to where it's officially too creepy to be single at that age. You know what I mean? Like Jesse's 65 on the prowl.
I don't like you anymore, but I am now 45. So
I've heard they get it on in the old folk homes.
Oh, they do. That's a thing.
I will be throwing old folk orgies till the day I die. And
That's
I do that
that's
now.
a cool band
I do
name.
that. I'm
You should add that to the
23.
list.
I do old folk orgies.
Old folk orgies. That's a good one.
Trademarked. I'm
Or
going to
a
buy
song
it.
name.
No, band name.
It's a very gutter punk sound
I like
to it. Yeah,
old folk orgies.
It's got a washboard in it and everything.
We'd play with like Pat the Bunny.
And a banjo.
Banjo.
Yeah.
We don't play it. We just like buy a new banjo just to smash it. Yeah. It's just like, well, what was that banjo? Oh, they smash it. Okay, it's a smashing banjo.
I'm doing everything in my power to not. I have that horrible ability to just look at cameras immediately, and I'm trying not to.
I forgot cameras are here. Yeah.
Dude, I can't. My entire life, like I did a set in California where I told my buddy to record it, and I had my phone. So I knew exactly where my phone was, and I looked right at my phone the entire time.
That's why you hide it.
I know. I should have, but it was.
Set it down. Take a Quaalude.
This is 1986.
If you have Quaaludes,
I don't.
If you get your hands on some.
I won't.
I have Quaaludes, Jacob.
Okay.
I don't understand why you're not understanding.
Isn't the new modern derivative like ecstasy?
No.
Quaaludes to calm you the fuck down.
No,
man.
Quaaludes-
Oh, is it like
No,
an
it's-
antidepressant?
It was
For
a sleep. It
moms.
was like a sleep
Society.
pill,
Yeah.
like a sleep pill, and then if you fought the urge to sleep, then you got like a little loopy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Well,
I
that's
guess-
how most downers work these days.
So I
But
assume,
same
that's what I was gonna
concept,
say. That's what most downers.
It was, if I understand correctly,
Ambien.
4 mothers who were like, I want a man job, and they were like, pop that.
Oh my god.
That was pretty much the gist.
No. Oh my goodness gracious. Are you a avid drug user?
No, I actually don't use any drugs. I smoked pot for the first time in probably 9 months the other day.
Really?
I'm going
He
to tell
barely
the story.
drinks too.
I've never been drunk. I'm 23 years old. I
You've
do
never
not know
been
what the
drunk?
feeling of being tipsy or
Really?
drunk is. Like the most I've ever drank in one sitting is 2 Jack and Cokes, and that was in like 2 hours of each other.
To be fair,
So I'm a
Jesse,
sipper. I babysit.
Jesse had
alcohol.
a pretty turbulent childhood with drug
Oh,
use.
I'm sure. I
Well,
mean,
that's
it's
not, that's very like part of it. That's probably like 75% of why I don't do it, because I've seen the effects of doing
Sure.
it. Like, and I never ever was like, oh, you're a drug addict. I don't
Right.
care. Do ecstasy, do coke. I will still be cool with you as long as you're not like ruining people's lives
Sure.
about it. You know, everything in moderation is what
Yeah,
I
of
totally
course.
believe. However, the feeling of anything, I'm such a pussy when it comes to just like not being coherent.
really.
Because I feel unsafe at that point.
Does it make
Like,
you anxious?
It's the lack of motor skills that kind of get me going.
not
and-
being in
Yeah, I
control.
don't like it. I
So
don't
then, by
like
that
at
logic, would
all.
you consider that you might be a lightweight only because you said you never really felt the feeling of being drunk, but maybe you felt to the point where like, okay, I might be a little.
Well, I've
loopy?
gotten to it to the point where I know that if I went further, I'd be like, nah, I wouldn't like this at all. But it's a mental thing. I don't let myself physically get to that point. I will mentally make myself sick physically before I get to that point. It's very much.
I think
in
I
my
physically
head.
get to that point before I mentally get to that point. most days,
Like,
most days
wow,
of the
wow,
week.
I'm fucked up. Whoa,
A lot
I
of the
forgot
time.
about this.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
I am
shouldn't have
a.
drank that much.
I would like to say responsible, but I'm an avid alcohol enthusiast. I would almost said abuser.
Almost. Well, it's on the
There's
line.
a fine line.
There's a big fine line.
you know,
but it's just interesting when especially in like today's age with everything being so accessible to everybody. I mean, they're promoting nicotine to adolescent children. You know what I mean? So it's not crazy to think that kids are now drinking a lot easier than they could back in the day. So,
But back in the day, they were drinking at 18, and the drinking age got moved up.
sure. I mean, but that didn't stop me. Like when
And
I
they were
was
probably drinking younger than
Well,
that.
I started smoking cigarettes at 14.
Yeah, I started smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes at 15, but it was always
I
because
was
like
14 too.
Yeah, it was always like a thing. Like, well, you mentioned with your background of drug abuse and stuff like that. Like my parents, my dad, he was a drinker, but he was a like a cool one. It's kind of hard to say cool, but like my dad was never
I've
mean.
met a lot of cool drinking.
My
like,
dad
cool
was
drinkers,
silly,
you know?
you know what I mean? My dad liked to put on a show.
a happy drunk.
And he had his moments where like he was kind of a dickhead, and stuff like that, which I remember. But it's just like to me, it was always like
It's too much when you're like stumbling over and
Yeah,
you're
see, he
being,
was never-
you're
he
being
was-
like you're acting like a 5-year-old. Like that's
Yeah.
too much.
yeah, no, it never was like that. So in my head,
I see
growing
people
up,
go out in public and act like that, like at bars and on Mill and shit.
oh yeah, it's just come on,
I
dude.
work on Mill, bud.
Yeah,
I have to
I
kick
bet you
those
see that a
guys.
lot. Do you have to kick them out?
Right in the mic. That's exactly the kind of content I want.
You want to talk into this?
No,
man?
I don't want to talk.
This is a good mic. Yeah, I kick them out regularly, if not every day, every other day. But it's not just the homeless population there is a lot worse.
Sure. Okay,
and then you now mix them. You've got alcoholic homeless people, and then those are the violent ones. See, regular college alcoholics are not yet necessarily violent. They're usually like, sorry, I'm being an asshole. The alcoholic homeless people are very violent and very reckless, and those are the ones that, like, before I approach, I've got the police on the way in case they start swinging. I've never personally had to do it, but there are multiple managers and bouncers in the restaurant.
Sure.
I've never seen them have to put somebody on the ground unless it's like a drunk homeless person. They're pretty crazy. But to get back to what you were talking about, no, I don't use drugs, and I do want to tell this story.
Go ahead.
I smoked pot for the first time in like 9 months the other day. Just me and Shelby were gonna have some sex. A little bit of sex is gonna be cool.
Oh yeah.
And so she was like, "Do you want to hit of this?" And I last really long. When
Wait,
I
did
smoked
she
pot.
mean her or the weed?
Well, both.
Oh, okay.
Keep on track, Tyler.
Okay,
Come on.
keep going.
Let's
Sorry.
And so I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I made the mistake because she is an avid pot smoker.
Okay.
She's got a pituitary gland tumor, and she has been smoking pot since she was like 12.
Sure.
And she can smoke bowls
Every
on
time I
bowls
go
on
over there,
bowls.
it's like back in the brandy days, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm smoking a lot.
Lots and lots, man. She can put down 5 bowls a day and still like that's
no, not
normal
me.
for her. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's her functioning. So I was like, yeah, just she lit the stem and then pulled the stem after about 6 seconds of me inhaling, and I wasn't paying attention, so I took the whole hit, and I was like, fuck, this is gonna suck, but I'm gonna get through it because I'm horny and I want this, and so. During the sex part, she was on top. I was forgetting I was having sex.
Uh-huh.
I was closing my eyes and I would just drift away. And then every now and again I'd come back and be like, whoa,
Yeah.
I'm having sex. I like and then I'd go off again. I had sex for like 50 minutes and I didn't even realize I was doing it.
If I hadn't finished within 50.
5-0.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
out
cra-
minute 8,
like
9,
sweaty.
and
She's probably embellishing.
if I haven't finished right now, I'm going to bed. Like I can't.
just okay, you can do
Yeah.
whatever, but
Yeah. See, I'm,
Just keep going.
I'm sorry. I forgot you were here.
who are you? What is this?
Just flip me over and do whatever you want to me. I really don't care at this point.
Mom, what the fuck just
See, I'm under like when I'm very drunk or super stoned, I don't like doing any of that kind of stuff. I'm very friendly still, and like I'm just like, don't touch me. You know, I either feel sick or I'm just like, again, like you, it's like I'm not like in this earth like right now.
Yeah.
So like it's just
I get even more quiet than I am now.
you are pretty
I've
quiet.
noticed that. He's a very quiet individual, very mousy, I would say, but like a cute mouse. Mouthy? I don't know.
No.
Maybe. Have you ever been mouthy to anybody?
Yeah.
I think you have the potential.
Usually adults.
I've seen you swing on a guy.
When I was a
but-
kid.
Oh,
Oh well, come on, man. Gotta respect the
Fight
boomers.
the power man. Fuck the
I never.
authority.
I don't do that. I do it.
I was
I
very
do not fight the
respectful,
power
yeah.
at
No,
all.
The power fights me,
You
and
don't
it
fight the
wins.
power?
I don't fight the power.
No, dude.
I am the most pacifistic person, like to the point where like I'll do whatever. Like I will agree with you just because I'm so anxious right now in this moment of we're about to argue that I'm just, you know what, cool, and then I'll just go to the shower and I'll have an imaginary argument with myself. And I feel
I
better.
do that too, but
Yeah.
it really depends on what it is for how far I'll
What?
go with it. So I'm
You're
not
not gonna hit me back.
No.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
fight you,
No,
but
no.
like I'll have a debate.
Okay, yeah. So it's like again, and I get to that at that level, and then eventually emotion is gonna trump it. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as I'm out of good points, we're like, well, no, you know what I mean? Like, and I have to stop. Because,
So do this. Here's a cool
Well,
trick.
I can feel the ego.
Yeah.
Here's a cool trick to get yourself over that anxiety of confrontation. Are you ready? It works 10 times out of 10. Be a restaurant manager.
Okay.
If you're a restaurant manager and people insist on having arguments with you, you'll learn to just sort of go, fuck you, do the thing I said, or I'll fire you.
See, I don't even have that power in my own job. See,
Where do you work?
I am a lead for a call center,
Very cool.
and so, but it's all based on training. So as soon as you're out of like the training class, then
Yeah.
you come onto my team, and even then, I can't. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm in no position to fire you. But it's like all I can really say is, can you please listen to me? So like you and I both don't get in trouble, and that never works ever. You know what I mean?
So
And
here's the thing. I'll be very honest with you. If I was calling your call center and you picked up the phone, I'd immediately be like, hey, can I get another person? Like, all you said was hi, and I get that, but I don't like this. I don't like how this is going.
A lot of people
like your tone.
A lot of people don't like because I am the kind of so I don't take calls anymore. But whenever someone wants to speak to the supervisor, that's now my position. And
so you are the next person.
So I am the next person, and
so it would actually be Jacob who you asked to speak to.
Oh fuck
it's
again,
me again, motherfucker. What's up? Guess
Why
what,
are you
bitch?
all 5 tiers? What do you do here?
He owns the company.
How can I help you?
Fuck! God damn it!
No, I get a lot of complaints because sometimes people think I'm way too condescending. I'm very like, oh, I'm sorry about that, sir, that you feel that way. People get fucking livid because I'm like, I'm being sincere.
Yeah.
And I have so many complaints, just that fucking guy. And that's how I am with life. Everything with life. Like I got in a car accident on the 28th, right there on Roosevelt and 7th
Did
Street.
you really?
Yeah, I did.
How
And
was that?
It was my fault. I got slammed. I ran a red light, but even then, it's like somewhere where you feel like emotions
How
will triumph.
bad was the accident?
It wasn't bad. I was just about to like go across the light, and a lady just clipped my bumper. So like I drove away. I was fine. She was fine. But like she's like screaming at me, obviously because she's all shook up.
Yeah,
but at this point, I'm just like, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. And I was like, I'll call the police, And she's like getting more upset at me because she's expecting me to fight back. And that's just not my day-to-day goings on. Like I have no aggression bones in my body.
Headbutting is a very sufficient way to stop an
Just
argument.
give this 5'4" lady a sick headbutt.
Once she calms down, you just be like, listen, that was just to calm you down. I wasn't trying to.
Hold on. Can you even headbutt anybody? You're so high above
who
them.
do
I
you
would
even-
have to back up and then put my head down and get a running start.
yes.
I couldn't just be like, I'd hit the top of their head. And that
Like a
wouldn't do
Pokemon
anything.
move.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to,
I'd
like-
knock myself out. You're like, oh, fuck. God damn it. Skull is hard, man.
You'd have to wind it up like a giraffe.
Hey, man, there's like a $300 TV behind you. Could you be careful?
$300.
Nowadays, it's not a lot of money and your parents are poor.
And we're back at Tyler's poor parents' house.
Why fucking gutter parents? I'm just kidding. I love your parents, Tyler, and they work hard for their money.
Sure,
and I
they're
hope
great.
they don't listen to this episode.
Do your parents
They
listen?
won't.
Yeah, good.
Do they listen?
No.
Do they ever?
Well, do your fucking parents listen to this shit?
They would if I told
Would they
them.
really?
I don't tell them.
Do you have parents?
I have parents.
I think my dad might listen to episode 16 when I actually post it, whenever I get to editing it.
What is episode 16?
I had a... he's a sex offender.
What?
Whoa,
Yeah.
really?
Like
But
to
the
children or like
no,
a
the
woman or a
circum-
man?
It was a girl who he was dating who was underage, but he was only a little bit older. But I think there weren't Romeo and Juliet laws in Idaho or something like that, so he was like 3 years older than her, and he got arrested.
Wow.
And it ruined his life.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a sex offender, and they don't really usually get into detail about that. Once you're a sex offender,
but that's why
that's
I
the
had
words
him
they
on.
hear.
Right.
That's
why I had him on.
Yeah.
Right.
The title was gonna be "I'm a sex offender. It's not what you think."
Oh, by the way, this you
Interesting.
would have already seen this by now. So we're talking about it as if it hasn't been out, but you'll be able to see it before this podcast.
Yeah, I'll
Because
post it before
this is what
one.
post is about, isn't that right, Leo?
You told him not to talk, and now you're talking to him like he's part of the.
Yeah,
the
well,
actual...
I didn't tell him not to talk. I
He's
told him
not-
to take his
he's-
shirt off, and it's
he's
still
not-
on his body.
He's not mic'd, so any response he makes is not going to be heard.
Do you have a good day, Leo? You really
Yeah.
should get into D&D.
What a team player he yells. So now that we can hear him. It's great. Pretty good. That must have been pretty intense. I mean, I won't get too much. If someone's going to listen to it and you're going to post it, I don't want to get too much into it. But wow, that's pretty. Especially
Yeah, man.
that's
Well,
not
that's-
something I would
well,
expect.
The reason that my dad is likely going to watch it is because that's what he does as
Sure.
a career.
He's a rape crimes detective.
Yeah,
Is like
he's SVU. Yeah.
Special Victims Unit. Dun dun.
dun dun.
Yeah.
I bet he does. I bet he
We're
hears
gonna get
that
sued for that
twice
for
every
sure.
fucking day. Oh my god. No.
He's like crying over a little girl, and some guy's walking by. Dun dun.
No, my parents are very, very supportive of everything I do. Like, and they're the sweetest people. Like, I was actually really lucky enough. My parents split when I was 4, but
Yeah, lucky you.
Well, no,
It's
they
fucking
both
crazy.
remarried. They both remarried, and so I got 2 sets of really awesome parents.
Very
But
cool.
sometimes I don't want them to hear things.
Yeah.
There's thing not because I'm embarrassed or I think they're gonna get mad at me. It's more
Are
of
they
just
liberals?
because they're my parents, and. Like little things, like I'll like I've had my one of my parents come to one of my shows, and they're like, "Oh, hey, that was awesome, really good." Hey, but what was up with that joke? Where you say, you know what I mean? And it's always stuff like that. It's always like I post something stupid on Facebook. It's just Like, what? She'll, like, my mom's so sweet. Like, she'll send me a message like, you know, why are you posting that kind of stuff? Are you okay? Like, I'm fine, as good as I can be, you know. So they're very supportive. It's just I usually don't tell them about
Your parents are religious, yeah. Most parents are religious.
They used to be. I
Oh,
think.
I love that.
I think not that they like just totally threw it out, but I think because when I was a kid, it was very. You know, we'd go to church and like I was part of like the church band. Like I was very like I liked it more for the sense of like community. That was like my whole thing. It's like hanging out with my buddies, you know. And I was a pretty good.
Oh,
kid
youth was honestly, dude. Like I don't like church and I don't like the organization, but youth was awesome.
Yeah, youth was really cool.
I liked youth a lot.
And my mom liked to participate in all the stuff. My dad never really went to church, but my dad's like what you would call spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, my mom is just like I am, but I don't practice it kind of thing. But it's not shoved down like anyone's throats anymore.
That's good.
And they're cool, you know. Yeah, it was
Melody Garfield, if you're listening, get with the times, lady.
Does she listen?
No, God no.
No,
She buys tickets to our shows and doesn't go because, well, she's like 65.
Yeah. My parents listen to our music, but they're like, "Oh, it's not my style."
Good.
Yeah, they always try to do like that offset, like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, it's good. It's just I don't."
I wouldn't listen to it.
I can hear
Yeah.
guitar, so that's cool. Like,
It's better than them just saying no. I don't want to listen.
I
to
honestly
it, you
really
know?
would rather they would do that.
When-
I don't like the pities.
When
shit.
Elena Avenue was starting to write Contrast and Perspective, the album, like they were like, "Oh, I love the sound in comparison to the other stuff."
Oh, that's backhanded as fuck.
My grandfather, before he died, he didn't like music at all. He liked Chicago, the city.
Oh,
Hey man, there's a lot of blues in Chicago.
So whenever I would show him like my music or music I was interested in, it was just noise to the guy. And you could show him
It is just
Beethoven's
noise.
Fifth Symphony, you know, and he would
That's what
just be
music
like,
is.
"This is stupid. Like, why?"
Really?
You know, that was him, you know. But he's dead, so
and it's funny you mentioned like the passive aggressive. Like I could tell, you know, because when I had to sell tickets for the band back in the day, like I would tell my family. Thank you. I would tell my family all the time, like, "Oh, you should come to my show," and like they knew what kind of music I played and stuff like that. So it was like really sweet to see like my grandmother at
I wish.
the pub rock,
yeah, seriously.
you know, and we're just getting down, you know.
My grandma and my mom came to see us perform, and we played this song called "Fear of Getting Caught."
Nice,
It's about my mom catching me masturbating.
nice.
That was very awkward.
That was a true story that happened to me.
There's video of that show.
It's a good show.
Oh, they were gonna say this video of the inspiration for that song.
Oh yeah, that too.
I was filming, waiting for my mother to walk in, mostly because I called her in.
That one psychopath. He could come in here and just wait. She's fucking ready to.
Mom, no, but don't go though.
You know what's crazy though is seeing. My dad's been to a lot of music for me. You know, my dad going to my comedy set for the first time was probably the most anxious thing for me. It was crazy. He liked it. he liked it, and of course he's always just like, "Oh, that was great" and stuff like that. But this is a guy who I've looked up to my entire life, and it's just like I know that this was not in the cards, and you know he's very supportive of everything I do. But like every joke I said, I was like, I feel like he's not gonna like it. He's
Wait,
not
Just
What-
disappointing him.
What was in the cards?
Well, no, it's just like like every my parents.
Isn't
were
that
very,
part of being a comedian though? Disappointing your parents.
yeah, for sure, and a musician, man. I'm 2 for 2 right
Yeah.
now. No, it was more of just like my parents obviously wanted me to go to college. They wanted me to by now they wanted me to be married. They wanted me to have a family.
Wait, you're not married?
I'm not married.
Dude, try it.
I've been trying.
Just give it a try. If
Okay.
you don't like
you
it,
just,
just stop.
you just said that you don't believe in it.
Hey, so
We got to rewind.
no,
Like,
taxes are cool, man. I like taxes.
My mom always says, she's like, "I hope you don't talk about me on stage." And every time I'm like, "Mom, don't be ridiculous." Of course I talk about
Yeah,
you on
man,
stage.
it's comedy.
Always. One of my
You're at least 45 minutes of commentary
Yeah, I
for
was
me.
like, Mom,
Like,
it's like the amount I could do a whole HBO special. You know what I mean? Like,
do you know the shit you've said?
oh my, yeah. Let me just pull out the records. Like, how much time do
I
you
have since I was 3 years old, and I could write at 3. I was very advanced. Not now, but then, sure.
But
Hey, how much time do we have?
We're coming on the. We might have like started a couple minutes early, so I'm gonna push it a little over an hour. But we're at like 20 minutes until an hour.
Oh, cool.
oh, okay.
All right, right on. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always love being on here with you guys. And like always, I've only been here one other fucking time. But I mean, like, it was really cool. Like, I would tell my
Well,
buddies.
you can come back anytime.
Oh, I would love to. I mean, this is something that I've always wanted to do for myself.
Yeah.
This is something that.
This is probably one of the lightest podcasts we've done because it's usually much more serious.
Much
Right.
serious.
Much serious.
Mucho
Much
serioso.
serious.
Very dope.
Very
Very
topic
very
heavy.
topic. Much serious.
Much serious.
And
it
I'm
ma-
always down for that too. Always definitely. But I mean,
Oh, yeah?
you guys
What do
are-
you know?
Oh man,
Because we don't know anything. So come on. lay
That's
it
why
on
we're
us.
here.
No, that's
That's why it's called
It's your thoughts because we don't have thoughts.
No.
We're going off of who's sitting in that seat.
We're
And then I'll tell
100%.
people.
where do stars come
We're
from?
100% followers. So
Right.
lead.
I mean, most, and that's
throw
where
them
the
on
video
the
ends
spot.
right there. That's where the YouTube video ends, just right there. Done.
Put that into perfectly cut screams on Reddit.
Right.
That's good stuff.
God, I feel like there's not much that my thoughts are not much here or there right now.
They're pretty jumbled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I love that, like the idea. Like, I mean, even to get, I guess, as basic as
New
possible.
podcast idea.
Yeah, just the podcast itself. You know,
Jacob's jumbled thoughts.
a lot of stutter. You know, what you do is we'll get one super fan to just jumble up every single time I've just in every single podcast because I just do it all the time. No, I mean, I've been listening to this kind of stuff since I was a kid. You know, starting with like Howard Stern and then going on to like Loveline with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla and stuff like that. And so I love talk radio. Back when I was a kid, I loved John Holmberg. I loved all that. So, anything that was just a bunch of friends joking around and stuff like that. So the older I get, the more I want to do this. So I'm always super happy.
How old are you?
I'm 25. I am 25.
What was that?
I know.
I like them young.
You do look a lot older than I always forget because I knew that you
23.
Yeah,
yeah.
you're 23.
Yeah, and I'm
What's your
20
birthday?
He'll be
March
24.
28th. Yeah, I'll be 24 in like a month.
I don't know that
Yeah.
sign. What's your
I'm
sign?
Aries. I'm an Aries.
Aries.
Somebody told me once I was a double fire. I don't know. It's like a moon sign
Yeah, I
or
don't know what
something.
that
I don't
means.
And I'll be
fucking know. I don't
25
follow it.
this month as well. I'm also an Aries.
So then you're older than I am because I turned 26. Well, no, wait.
He's turning.
No, I'm
25.
turning 25.
Wow. Yeah, we should.
I keep eyeballing that whiskey. It's about that time.
Oh, your parents have some nice crystal over there. Can we get a shot of the crystal?
I know. I've never
Can
seen
you
like a
physically
decanter
get a shot of
with actual like liquid in it. That's fancy. I like that.
Yeah.
I've always wanted that kind of stuff. Like my whole thing is, again, it's hard to talk about because it's just like it's ruined so many lives. But like I love drinking.
Well, I love the idea of drinking. It's very romantic. I romanticize, and that's a word I'm using now.
Sure.
Just get over it. But I want a full bar. I work at a bar. I'm a bartender. And as well, I'm a manager. I just sort of generally manage everything. But I bartend, and it made me want to get into mixology.
Yeah.
Mixology is amazing.
Oh, it's fun.
And so I started collecting alcohol slowly but surely because like you get cheap alcohol, whatever, that's for parties or whatever, but the top shelf stuff is expensive. So you start slow on the collection there. You don't open it too often, and then you start to collect like really nice stuff. And that's what I'm going to do.
That's very cool.
But also selling crack really funds that.
Always a quick.
Well, we
quick
kind of
on this
took
one.
all of your alcohol.
Well, we bought more.
Oh, did you?
So remember when I was like, I'm not an alcoholic?
So that's the thing, though, is that I'm not like I love booze. Like I love having like I could drink it alone. I love drinking with friends, obviously, but like I
don't usually drink alone.
I like to just because that's when like I do a lot of like writing or like that's when like I like to play music.
I'll have to try that.
I've never been someone. Like that's a lie. I mean, you get in your feels sometimes. It takes one bad thing. You watch one sad video.
Yeah, but you probably need to feel it.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I'm also a very emotional person sober too. So
Yeah.
I don't need it. But like I guess like what I'm getting to is that like I'm not I don't like just rip the bottle open and just start drinking out the bottle. Like I'm very basic with my drinks.
Sophisticated.
No, not even that. Like I'll drink I'll have like my 2 liter of Coke and a Captain Morgan, but like I have to have that. You know what I mean? Not like the whole thing, but like I will drink enough to where like I'm like, okay, I'm ready for bed now. Like and you were talking about, working where you do, it's like you handle so many. It blows my mind with how old we are and seeing how many people our age that cannot handle their booze.
Are you shitting me, dude?
It's
like
insane.
I know 24, 25-year-old genuine alcoholics.
Yeah.
Like that are like life sucks and I'm drinking like
For sure.
heavily.
Oh,
you know
for
what
sure.
I
But
mean?
I guess what I'm
Well,
getting
it
like
does, but alcohol is not going to help you.
well,
It's a depressant. You guys know Moscow Mules?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got really into gay porn. That's it.
One of these days I'm going to be really looking forward to a nice segue. I don't mean to cut you off, Jacob. Big balls. Am I right? Anyways, you were saying, Jacob?
Do you see why I want him to go do a set with you?
That would be pretty funny.
I think I would have fun.
I see
It'd be
people
great.
like, I've been on dates or I go out with friends where it's just like, oh my God, I gotta throw up. I'm like, you're in a public place. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You swallow that
yeah,
shit.
or just don't. Take
Just
a
don't
breather. You
throw
know what I
up.
mean? Like, take a second. Like,
Stop drinking.
I've
first
never
of all.
in my now I've thrown up. I've thrown up
Yeah.
from partying. You know, I've definitely done that. But my whole thing is that like when I'm out, I've never gotten to the point where I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna puke. Let's keep going. You know what I mean? So it's
No,
like I don't
stop.
I know it's like kind of like a
I
social
stop
contract.
before
of-
I get to that point.
Yeah, me too. Or like I'll just take a break. You know, an hour. Just have have 2 smokes. Have a glass of water. All right, I'll take another.
Yeah, you're
drink,
fine. Yeah.
But like I've had so
if
many.
I'm that drunk and I'm smoking, I'll get more nauseous.
Really?
Yeah.
See, it's I could chain smoke all night if I'm drinking.
Seriously, it's a social thing.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
And also when I'm alone.
I smoke a lot more when I'm drunk.
Oh yeah.
I think
it's-
that's normal.
I think that is
I
definitely
go through
normal.
like half a pack.
I only smoke when I'm with people, and especially when I'm drinking. Alone, I don't smoke cigarettes. A pack will last me a whole week. I just like to. I like to smoke. I like the smell of smoke. I like to. I guess the word is romanticize in this podcast, but
Smoke.
I think often that I want to quit smoking. It's bad for you, and I got this.
mhm.
Soren air.
Ding.
But I love it.
Well,
I can't
another
get away
cease and
from it.
desist.
I can't get away from smoking because I'll sit at home. I don't smoke at home. I'm at work. I'll chain smoke. I'm with friends. I'll smoke. I don't want to not.
Yeah.
I really wish it wasn't as bad for you as it was because it's so fucking
It's
nice,
good.
man. It's good.
It's good.
It's
and if you
relaxing.
don't
Oh, yeah.
smoke, don't start. That's really everybody's
Yeah.
always told
Yeah.
you that, but because of how fucking awesome
Seriously,
it is,
don't
it's
fucking
just
do
not
it.
good.
Well, going back to like the topic that we had a couple,
Yeah.
a little while back, like that was like the same with drinking. Where like my dad drank so much that not so much. I don't want to paint him in a bad light, but I mean like there were beer. Like if I took a beer, he would notice.
Yeah.
So like every now and again, I'd have a beer. Same with his cigarettes. He would buy cartons at a time. So I mean, I would just take a pack of cigarettes.
was
And
actually
then-
the opposite for me. My dad doesn't drink that much at all, so we just took beer.
Oh.
He wouldn't even know. Yeah, seriously, there was a lot of times where we had practices, and Jacob, continue.
Well, no, it's just like it's like I feel bad. Like I remember there's a
You're so good at that.
there's a dumb bit that I used to do. Where I went to Grand Avenue Pizza.
Yeah,
Downtown, and they had a.
I used to run that joint.
Also, shout out to that place. That place is really awesome. I love the people who run it. The food's amazing, and the open mics are actually really cool. But the first time I ever did it, my roommate told me that it was an open mic, so I didn't. And this is back before I really delved into the Phoenix, art scene. So I thought it was comedy. I was the only comic. The rest were like singer-songwriters, poets, and they're all talking about like these. Like one guy talked about how alcohol ruined him and his dad's relationship. I'm literally following that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And I have like 3 bits about awesome times when I was wasted. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's not good.
like
Wait,
so.
that actually sounds like a good setup, though.
It's just like, and I looked at my room. I was like, how the fuck am I gonna follow that, dude? Like, I don't know what to do. Like there was one that talked about like a lady. I swear to God,
So
it was,
I'm gonna take this in a completely different
Yeah.
direction with you guys.
I got up there and like I did like I was just like, okay, I'm gonna apologize because I did not expect this. I broke character immediately. I was like,
that should be the joke.
my genitals, you know what I mean? Like, and it was so, but like,
PP.
well, the point I'm getting to is that like a lot of friends that I have are just like, I got alcohol poisoning or like my uncle died or something like that. It's like, dude, I have none of that. Like, I just have awesome memories with it, Like, I don't know. Just
Here's the thing:
How do you get that drunk?
tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Sure.
That is the most basic formula for comedy, and people hate that because tragedy sucks, and people have gone through things.
Oh, yeah.
If you can't make a very heavy situation out of a light situation, you enjoy being shitty.
Yeah.
That's just
Isn't
how it is.
The other way around. You can make. He said very heavy situation out of a light situation.
Oh yeah, if you can't make a light situation in a very heavy situation, then you're stuck in that heavy.
I was just trying to imagine
situation.
what that would entail.
I would say within reason, because I mean there are things that are really, really hard to bounce back from. But I agree,
Yes.
where if you're gonna only let it negatively just impact you for the rest of your life, like you're just torturing yourself.
Well, there are
Yeah,
things
but
you don't
what
touch.
are the worst things?
Well, I mean, there's a difference between hey, I don't like alcohol because I got in a DUI or and it ruined my life, but in the same perspective, someone can say, I don't like alcohol because my son was killed by a drunk driver.
You're taking it to another.
You know what I
layer.
mean? Where it's just like there's 2 different stories of what really is bad in your perspective. So I can understand people not liking alcohol or drugs because of, option B. You know what I mean? Having said that, I don't think that you should let your feelings ruin someone else's good time.
No, definitely.
You know what I mean? And now again, having said that, I don't think that the person who's having the good time should be a dickhead about
No,
it.
no,
You know what I mean?
No,
Coming
there's
from
there's a responsibility that needs to be
Yeah.
upheld.
Coming from a bad background, I found it better to be able to joke about it. Just lighten it up. You know what I mean? Because, at the time it was awful. I didn't want to go through it, and it was a hard time. Yeah. But I'm not in it anymore. And I'm not going to be in it anymore. I've changed my life for the better, and now it happened. I can't take it away. All of the things that I've seen and been through in my life, they're there. But I don't dwell. You can't dwell on it, or your life's just going to suck, man. And I get it. Yeah. There are things that are too heavy to bounce back from. People's psyches are different. My psyche is totally different from a lot of people. But I did it. And now life is a lot better and is a lot more cheerful. And I remember those things, but they don't make me sad anymore.
Sure.
Like for the last 7 years, I haven't been sad about any of it. Right. You know? And I think a lot of that comes from being able to make it a light situation.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I mean? And not being closeted about it.
It's more just about looking at the bright side, as cliche as that sounds. Because, like you said, you are absolutely right. There are those people who subconsciously, whether they know it or not, are just, I'm going to be in a bad mood, and I'm going to put you in a bad mood because it feeds my bad mood.
It feels good.
It's almost, like in a light example, it's kind of like veganism. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to make you feel like a piece of shit because you're eating meat. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with what I'm doing, but I'm going to stay mad at that. You know what I mean? So
it's manipulative.
Yeah, again, and there's a million different topics.
It's where the victim mentality goes too far.
Kind of. Yeah, and so, when I tell stories on stage about,
Wait, you're a comedian?
I tell,
No, he's a musician.
Yeah. I'm a
Santoro?
a composition.
Composition?
No, I was gonna say
he does musical comedy.
A musity.
Yeah.
A musity.
You know how many
thought
times
about doing that?
Yeah, dude, do you know how many times I've been told, from friends, oh, have you ever heard of Bo Burnham?
No,
I'm just
never.
yes, I have, and
Never.
I'm
Bo Burnham.
Yeah,
so.
It's just I'm so good, and no, nothing against him. It's just no. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing with Steve Martin. My dad loves Steve Martin, and Steve Martin played the banjo. And so he's like, oh, you ever tried that? It's like, yeah, of course I try it, but no,
Though Steve Martin is in a pretty bitchin' bluegrass band.
Oh, yeah. I saw that on
cool,
NPR
man.
Tiny
He's
Desk.
Way
that
good
was
at that
really
shit,
good.
Dude. Yeah, they're amazing for a bluegrass band. I like bluegrass. I like
Isn't
it a lot.
it crazy to think it's just I'm going to go record with Steve Martin right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, people do that. I hear that. I think about that all the time. One day, if for whatever reason, because it's so rare that it happens, but we just blow up in our respective different bands and we start touring or whatever, and then we start getting into bigger. One day I'm just going to be like, hey, Travis Barker, what's good?
Yeah,
you know
right,
what I mean?
right.
How you doing? And that's normal.
Right.
People are like that. People who aren't even in the music scene, just groupies, roadies,
right.
people who are, stagehands and stuff like that. It's just like, hey, Travis, do you mind just not doing that? Do that over there. You're talking to one of those famous drummers of all time, and you're just like, hey, over there, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's a big trip for sure.
I don't know. I'm unfortunately, I feel like I would have an ego for that.
Yeah.
I'd feel like king shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't let that one go.
Are we good on time?
I think we all want this to end.
I was just making sure. I just don't want to go into something if we're about to end.
Yeah, we still have some time.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna get to I've done shows at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles before, and
really?
and that was really awesome. So kind of thinking about that, I remember one of my favorite stories is I'm taking a piss in the bathroom, and someone walks in, and there's 4 stalls, and it's he goes to the one right next to me, but all of them are clear. So I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, and I look up, and it's Dave Chappelle.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You did not take a piss next to Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle took a piss next to me. I was there first, and of course, what are you going to say? I'm just like, it's I just kind of sat there.
You could see him shiver through his piss.
Yeah, and it's little things like that. And I left. I ran out of the bathroom.
You did not run
out. No, but I was just you know what I mean? And I got out of there because I was so overwhelmed. It was one of my favorite people of all time. Not comedians, people.
Yeah.
And the greatest moment of my life is that I'm over there checking my phone. I'm texting my uncle. I'm just like, oh, you would not believe what just happened right now. And again, I see a shadow, and it's Dave. And he goes, hey, man, good job on that set you did. And I was like, thanks, Dave. I just said Dave, and he just shook my hand, and he walked away. And I was just like, I feel his powers of righteousness transferring through me. How
many sets did you do at the comedy?
I've done 3.
What?
So they weren't big. There's 3 different rooms. You have the main room, the boiler room, and then there's a side room. And I could be butchering that. Someone's gonna yell at us about it.
Call on your phone right now.
Yeah.
Hey, how did you know we were doing this?
It's Dave.
Hey, motherfucker.
Yeah. No, but there's 3 different rooms. I've done. So the way that works is that a bunch of nobody comedians, a bunch of open micers, they'll come in and they'll do a raffle, and it goes from I don't know, it was 8 o'clock to 10:30. and they're all like 5-minute sets. And you would think that everyone would
5
get,
minutes.
you would think that would get everyone taken care of, but there's still a lot of people who don't get raffled in.
Wow.
So I was just lucky enough to get it done twice, but it was really cool. And then the other one was just like an open mic they had on like a Tuesday when no one was there, you know what I mean? I just again got in.
Yeah.
But it's pretty crazy to think that like some of those people are like watching, you know, and like I see like these people who, you know, like you said, like I look up to, and it's like I've seen Joe Rogan there just hanging out. I've seen Joey Diaz there just hanging out. Ron White. I mean, the list goes on and on. I've seen Jim Carrey there.
You can't just approach Ron White.
No, you can't.
You can't.
No.
You can't do that.
But like, there's a way. It's funny because, you know, once you do a show there, once you do a show,
cigar out on you.
Once you do a show there, it's kind of like if you know the right person, you just get in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I would go to shows all the time for free and just poke my head in, and just it was really cool to be able to see like Bill Burr and Tom Segura and all these people who, again, I love, and just get to see them for free, and then, you know, got to meet some of them, you know? So
a lot of the time, I feel like I know this, but I talk out of my ass. It's kind of one of my favorite things to do. But places like that are they're
yes.
Back to it. All right. I had to take a little leukemia break there. Is that too much? You know, the Comedy Bar, it's a big, everybody knows the Comedy Bar, but it's not huge.
No.
You know what I mean? A lot of the big people, and I know Bill Burr has done this, they'll practice new material at places like that in order to do like their tours and stuff like that, see what works, see what doesn't work. It's still a big place. Everybody knows a Comedy Bar, but it's not crazy big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe. Thoughts?
No.
I have no idea.
No, I mean...
Yes, Jesse. As far as I know.
Well, again, it all really also depends on what you define as, like, big. I mean, my mom doesn't know who half these people are.
That's true.
But, like, to me, like, I would lick the floor they walk on if it meant that'd be
like,
funnier, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. But if you got followers, you're well known, you've got a Netflix special, which doesn't say much because everybody's got a fucking Netflix
Right.
special.
I think
You're
that
not
says
going
a
on
lot.
tour. You're not going on tour with new material you haven't tried yet.
Right.
That's scary. You know, you don't know if people are, and you need these crowds to like you. You're going to the next city, and that's scary. So, I mean, I would think the best way to do it is just stay local, practice those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Do a small set. Do you like that? Nope.
Well, that's
You
all
know?
I like. I like small sets. I don't like, you know, I've done shows. Like, my biggest one today, I did a 420 show, and it was like 180 people. And it was just like...
Yeah, I mean, that's big.
It's awesome,
Yeah.
and it was really fun. But like, to me, I like comedy where it's a little dive bar and there's 15 people, and you know what I mean, like just like the after work drinks. And
Is it more personal?
I think so.
I've heard comedians talk about doing it in a large scale venue setting, and it's not the same as
well, there's a
smaller
difference when they
stores.
say large scale venue. I think there's a big difference between stand up live and Madison Square Garden. I think that, you know what I mean. Like, I think that you know, stand up live or like the Tempe Improv, those are cool places. But I do think that a lot of people like it to be personal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like it because, you know, I don't do a lot of crowd work. I don't really like to go back and forth with people, but, you know, it's fun to lock eyes with someone and get a laugh out of them. You know, like almost like I'm like relating to them. Like, oh, you know what I mean? So,
Well,
I get anxious too.
Well,
So-
I was trying to say this earlier, but obviously conversation sort of keeps going. I wrote material for when we do that, if we do that.
Sure.
I hope we do it.
Sure, me too.
All of those things were situational, where I was sitting down with friends, I said something funny, and I wrote it down. And I have always gotten big laughs from very small gatherings.
Yeah.
Everybody's paying attention to me for a minute, you know what I mean? And somebody said something, and as you've noticed, I'm quick with quorums. And doing that live, I'm not talking to anybody.
Right.
I don't know. That would be a brand new situation for me to it's funny when I read it. I know exactly what happened in that situation, but now I've got to create a punchline, and I've got to drag it out, and
Right.
There's no back and forth either.
and that sucks
Right.
because
And
I'm good
comedy's
at
a lot
back and
easier
forth,
to do back and forth.
For sure.
but I refuse to do improv.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and sometimes it can be fun, but like, you know, kind of going off of your point that there's a big difference.
We used to
between-
do so much improv
Shut up, Tyler.
There's a big difference
back
between,
in the way
you know,
days.
like a lot of people will get confused on, I'm really funny in the office, so this is going to just move over. Like, this is going to just shift into this new, where it's like, these people don't know you. They don't understand
You got to
the
set
inside joke.
context.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Context
and
is
so,
the hardest
you
thing
know,
to
when
set.
you have like, you know, like my stepdad who's a huge fan of just comedy in general. He always says like, "Oh, I'd love to write this stuff down. You know, I've got a million ideas." I'm like, "Well, why don't you go do it? Because there's a big difference, you know." So that's what a lot of people get confused with this kind of stuff too. So you got to really pick your audience, or like you got to understand your audience. It's not your friends. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be the first comedian ever to handpick my audience.
That's pretty baller. If we have time, I actually have a really funny story about that.
Tell her right now. Tell her right now.
So just super quick, going off of that. So my first set moving back, I ended up hooking up with this promoter, and he has a really awesome comedy spot, and it's right on the where the one it's in North Phoenix where Union Hills and the 17 meets, and it's a. Of course, now I forget the name of it. But anyways, he had to sell tickets, and I was one of the few comedians to actually sell tickets. And the seats were set up in rows. Like they look like the banquet halls of Hogwarts. You know what I mean? No one else sold tickets except for me. And I told my friends when they're all there and they're the audience, like, please don't sit next to each other. They all sit next to each other. So it's just like nothing. 18 people, nothing. And so it's like I did literally bring the audience. Like, and I was like, I'm just gonna start doing this shit. You know?
That happened at our last Yucca Tap show. We played with Mo Topper and Courtesy Call. They both did a good job, and you know they've been around longer than us. And Mo Topper's from California. He was touring, or Tropper, whatever your last name is. No disrespect, but we opened for an 8:00 set on a Thursday. We brought a crowd. The floor was full. Courtesy Call got on. The two people that they brought. Yeah. That's all that was on the floor for them. And that shit like that happens sometimes. You know. Yeah. Who did?
Yes.
All right, that's been Your Thoughts
podcast. Every single one with you. You do that.
That was genuine. I forgot where I was going with it.
You do every time.
This has been Your Thoughts podcast.
There's like that's like a canon thing that he does.
I'm trying to end the show, Tyler.
I know. I'm just pointing
Once
out.
again, this has been
This has been Your Thoughts podcast with Jesse Martinez, Tyler Beck, and Jacob Santoro.
Yep, Jacob Santoro. Thank you.
Jacob Santoro. No credit.
Where can we find your material, or where can we find you if you're okay with plugging?
That's fine. So Facebook, Jacob Santoro. Instagram, Jacob Santoro Comedy. Twitter, it's Jacob OJ Belly. It's pronounced Jacobo J Belly. Those are my three handles.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's been my Xbox gamer tag since I was in high school. But cool. No, I will be doing hopefully doing some new sets soon. Trying to do some more open mics, but maybe I'll whoever's watching, I'll see you guys around.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah. If you would like to be on Your Thoughts podcast, this is an everybody can join situation. We don't do famous people. We don't do people of interest.
Could do famous people.
It is your thoughts because you have a mind and we want to get into it. So if you're interested in doing something like this, just shoot us something on Facebook at Your Thoughts. Do we have an email yet? We'll have one by the time this goes out. Okay.
I think it's yourthoughtspodcast@gmail.com.
All right. Well, then hit us up, yourthoughtspodcast@gmail.com, and have a wonderful.
Be sure to check. Be sure to check out our other episodes on Spotify, YouTube. We have a variety of other content online, so be sure to check those out as well.
Or don't. This was the best one and only one you really need to.
This is the end all be all.
All right.
That concludes Your Thoughts podcast.
Have a good one or whatever.
Goodbye.